All right, number 10 says the angle of elevation from the tip of a building's shadow to the top of the building is 63 degrees. And the distance is 220 feet. Find the height of the building to the nearest foot. So I don't really like this problem because how in the world did we determine that this distance was 220 feet? It seems more realistic to me that we would find the length of the shadow. But regardless, we've got a triangle here. It's a right triangle. This building is standing straight up, and even if it weren't, we measure height always perpendicular to the ground. So this is a right triangle. We know this angle is 63 degrees. We know this side. Since it's a right triangle, we don't need to use the law of sines or the law of cosines. We can use a much simpler method, which we can remember by the acronym SOHCAHTOA, which just means that the sine of the angle, the sine of an angle in the triangle is equal to the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is equal to the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And the tangent of an angle is equal to the length of the opposite side over the length of the adjacent side. All right, so here we know the hypotenuse. This length here is going to be the hypotenuse. It's the side that's opposite the right angle. So this is the hypotenuse, and we're trying to find the height of the building, which is going to be our opposite side. So since we're finding the opposite side, we know the hypotenuse, we're going to look at sine, because that's the one that deals with the opposite in hypotenuse. So we know that the sine of an angle is equal to the length of its opposite side divided by the length of its hypotenuse. And so here the sine of 63 degrees is equal to the opposite side, which is what we're trying to find. Let's call this x, divided by the length of the hypotenuse, which is 220 feet. And now multiplying both sides by 220, we get that x is equal to 220 times the sine of 63 degrees. And we can plug that into our calculator. 220 times the sine of 63 degrees is 196 feet. And that's going to be our answer.